Great. So let's start. Susan, why don't you introduce yourself and then Liz and then Jenna?
Sure. Good evening, everyone. I'm Susan, and I am the development manager for Econi Ranch.
Hi, I'm Liz and I live and work here at the ranch. I mostly work with facilities and building projects as well as in the kitchen.
My name is Jenna. I also live here and I do all the bookkeeping and money management, and I manage the horses and the horse programming.
Yeah, and you'll get to hear a little bit more from Liz and Jenna a little later to if you have more questions about the food or if by any chances possible any of you are interested in more information or have questions about the horses. Can't imagine that any of you do, but if you do, Jenna is the one to answer them. Um, Again, my name is Michelle Sager. I am the program director at Econi, and I am often the main one around during camp at like drop-off day, things like that. So you will definitely see me if you're coming to camp this summer as well. Um, I have a few photos. The main questions that I get about camp are like, where do we sleep? And what do we do? Like, what are the activities like? So I'm gonna like go through a little bit of that. There will be like time for sure at the end if you want to have questions. At any time too, you can like pop a question in the chat. Susan will be monitoring the chat. And we'll like go through all of those at the end. I will say it was a little hard for me to like choose which photos. So there's like a few, and we'll try to just like go through them quickly, but there's just like a lot of fun ones. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay, great. So here is our cute photo of going on a trail ride with the ponies. Oh, a fun thing is that I don't know how to scroll. Okay. First question is where are we going to sleep? And this beautiful building is called the bunkhouse. This is where everyone will sleep. Um, this photo on the right, this like cozy zone, we call this the common space. This is the inside of this triangle piece here on the other side. So this, like you walk in here, it's cozy. There's like board games and books and like lots of hanging out happens in there. And then down these like long sides, down each side, we call the wings, are the places where everyone will sleep. So we are not a camp where there's like individual cabins that people stay in. Everyone stays in the bunkhouse together. And there are different like sections, but it's all one space. So down each wing, there's this photo on the left with the beds is the downstairs. We call those the bunks. And there's like 10 or 11 beds on each side. And then upstairs, so there's these ladders that go all the way up. And then here you can see like the upstairs is in a loft and you can sleep up there as well. This photo doesn't show the sleeping mats up there, but we can put sleeping mats up there and they just go right on the floor and a bunch of people can sleep up there as well. Um, and like I said, there's two sides. So often at camp, we have two small camps happening at the same time. So one camp would be on one side and the other camp would be on the other side. Sometimes we have one big camp that's kind of just like spread throughout the bunkhouse. Um, and in the bunkhouse, you can choose where to sleep. If you come with a friend, you guys can put your stuff right next to each other. Like you can choose beds that are next to each other, or choose to sleep in the loft. And we're like monitoring like how that gets set up. The staff also sleeps in the bunkhouse. There's another little room just off the side. So there's always staff on hand, all through the night. And it's very cozy. It's kind of an exciting time to learn how to sleep in the same room as everyone you know for the week. But it's great. It's a great fun experience. Um, The lodge is where we like hang out, we gather, we do our morning circles and our afternoon circles there. It's this first big, beautiful building's first one you see when you get to the ranch. So when you come for drop off, this is where you'll check in right outside this building, get your name tag and get all the information you need. So lodge is a very important place. It's also where all of the horse tack is stored, our craft area is in there, all kinds of stuff. Very multi-purpose space. The Yummy Tummy Cafe is where you'll eat all of your fabulous meals. You come and you get in line and like get food, like all the food's like spread across the counter. You go through and you can have a yes, please serving or a no, thank you serving. And eat at these long tables. There's also places to eat outside if that's your preference. And all of the food is so yummy. The bathhouses are not attached to the bunkhouse. There's two, they're separate. But they're both like quite near the bunkhouse. And they're similar, like style. One is from was built a long time ago and one was built a little more recently, but both have like a lot to offer. They have a couple toilet stalls and showers. Definitely like everyone will take at least one shower over the course of the week, maybe only one, totally appropriate. We get dirty. But we will send all of you home clean. Don't worry. And these are like, you can access these from the bunkhouse like in the night as well. Like it's nice to bring shoes that you can slip on and just walk out from the bunkhouse if you need to go to the bathroom in the night. Those are kind of like our main infrastructure, like facilities, things that people often ask about. The other main question I get is what is a day like at camp? And a day at camp could look a bazillion possibilities, ways. We say anything is possible, nothing is guaranteed. This schedule I have here is actually from like a school field trip and not from camp. So camp's like a little different, but same basic structure. Basically, there's a chunk of time in the morning where you'll be doing an activity and a chunk of time in the afternoon where you'll do a different activity. So if you come for horse camp, you will spend one of those activity sessions with the horses. So you'll be like riding in the arena or on a trail ride or doing some other kind of horse riding related project. For the other half of the day, you will do anything else, all the other fun camp stuff. You might do an amazing craft project. You might go for a hike, or you might go on a supreme adventure, or you might do a cooking project, or you might play games. So there's like lots of other camp stuff that's happening at camp, and you'll spend half of your time doing like the spectrum of things and half of your time doing horses. Or if you're here for another themed camp, like if you're coming for art camp or music camp, it kind of works in the same way, where you'll do like a chunk of the day with that project and a chunk of the day just doing like really fun camp stuff. Right after lunch, we have a free period time that we call free range. So all of the kids can choose which activities they want to do. During free range, you can swim in the pond or do crafts or take a nap or like read a book in the shade or like look at the chickens. Like there's a lot, it's like your choice kind of time. So there's definitely like structured activity time and lots of time to hang out and choose what you're doing as well. The other thing that's different from like this school group versus camp is that you will not be in the same group every day necessarily. Like this has like group 1, 2, 3. Like which activity groups you're in, who's in your group could change every day. And those are off just kind of based off of like the horses and like lots of other reasons. But during your free time, you can choose specifically, like everyone has free time at the same time. So if you want to hang out with your friend and you weren't in the same group that day, no problem. You'll have lots of time. We do have like 3 delicious meals a day. And then after dinner, we also do like a whole group activity of some kind. Sometimes it's games or service project. And then we just get ready for bed. And getting ready for bed is like a long, we have read a book, we brush hair. We brush our teeth, and then we like kind of slowly get in the mode for bed. The other thing that everyone does at camp is chores. And don't worry, chores are fun, especially when you do them with all your friends. Chores can include feeding the animals, helping in the kitchen, cleaning up in the kitchen, working in the garden. Every day you'll have a different chore. With a chore crew that is the same group of kids that you'll be with all through the week. So you've got some like repetition of who you'll see, some choice time of who you'll see, and some like groups that will change throughout the day. Here is a great example of someone enjoying their food in the Yummy Tummy, and also some kids having a great time on cleanup crew. This is like one of my favorite pictures. So cute. Cleanup crew is really fun. We play music and we clean all the kitchen. It's like fabulous. Of course, if you're coming to horse camp, you will get lots of opportunity to meet all of the ponies. Especially if you're coming to Horse Connection Camp, like I know one of our friends on this call is, you will spend like all of your time loving the horses and getting to know all of their most deepest, darkest secrets. So we do spend time with the horses on the ground. And of course, we also ride them if you're coming to a riding camp. So you might do lessons in the arena like this group of kids is doing. Or you might go on a trail ride like this group of kids is doing. This is our Young Rider camp. I know there's a couple of folks who are planning to come to Young Rider. So I think here they're practicing balance, doing a great job. So fun. Ponies. Of course, we have lots of animals at the ranch that are not ponies. We have chickens, we have ducks, we have Pickle, she's my dog. We also have some kitties. We got 2 kittens last year. So these are photos from last year when they were like teeny tiny little kittens, but they are still the most friendly, the cutest cats in the world. This one over here is Willow. This one is Aspen. They're sisters. And of course it can get hot at camp. So there's lots of ways. And I saw this as a question on one of the RSVPs. It's like, how do you deal with the heat? We are very used to dealing with the heat here at Oconee Ranch. We go swimming in the pond. We go on the slip and slide. We play in the sprinkler. We wear things that are wet. So on your packing list, you've got a bandana on your list. And a lightweight long sleeve button down cotton shirt. Those are things that protect us from the sun. And also we will like literally get them wet and wear them. It feels really nice. We have an Oconee pool that is like a giant water trough that's really fun to get in and splash around. And we also, when it's really hot, we'll like do a lot of activities in cool spaces. We'll like do crafts in the shade, or go like into the buildings that are really insulated. If it gets like super, super hot, we adjust our schedule completely, try to like do our activities early and late and have like a longer like chill time in the middle of the hot part of the day. We have like lots of strategies for dealing with the heat. Because it does get warm in the desert mountains. Of course, we also have camps that are not horse camps. Some of our like really sweet special camps are not horse camps. We have a cooking camp shown here. We have music camp that is like, oh my gosh, they put on a big concert at the end of the week. It's like very exciting. We have art camp. We have some other camps that I didn't like put pictures up. We have like a wilderness camp. We have leadership camp. We have a rites of passage style camp for teens. We have like a lot of other camps that are happening as well beyond the horses, but I know a lot of you are here for the horses. Understand, totally understand. Some of the things we do when we're not with the horses or with our like not cooking or doing whatever your other project is we go out in the woods and we just like spend time out there. We find bugs, we climb trees, we look at plants, we like collect items, we make art with the stuff we find out there. There's a lot of forest to explore, and the canyon and like big fields and all kinds of things. So a lot of what we do is we go out in the woods and we play games and find exciting stuff out there. It is like my greatest joy to be out in the woods. Here are some kids learning how to use maps and find their way around the land. They made it to the pond, very proud of themselves, really fun. And we also do a lot of service projects. So there's some kids like winding up fencing or working in the garden. We do a lot of things that are like, like many hands make light work in order to like make this place function. Like there's a lot of projects that we're doing all the time. And it's really fun when you get to do those projects with the other people that you know. A very important part of Oconee Ranch is the rope swing. Rope swings, actually we have 3. One that's like smaller and 2 that are like bigger. Like Ozzy is enjoying this swing very much. This is like the best photo we've ever gotten because it's like you go pretty fast. Rope swing, a very important place to spend your free range time or your just kind of like free time that you have around the ranch. And then sometimes we'll play games, we'll watch the sunset, we look at the stars. In the evening, it really like cools down and it's like a whole nice, like special time at the ranch. And I think that's all I have. I know it was a lot of photos and I talked a little fast because I wanted to get through them all. But that is what I got for like the basics. Let me see if I can stop sharing. So that is like your like whirlwind tour through a day at camp. Let's see, Liz, maybe do you want to talk a little bit about food? And then Jenny, you can talk a little bit about horses, and then we will just have like open time for questions for everyone.
Great. Thanks so much, Michelle. It makes me so excited for camp to see all
I
the
know.
pictures. Start thinking about it. Yeah, so one of the other questions we get a lot of is like, what do we eat at summer camp? So all of the food that we make here is all from scratch. Super wholesome food. We eat mostly vegetarian. So we have meat maybe once a week. So we're eating mostly vegetarian food. We eat a lot. We try to eat as much as we can from our garden that the campers get to help harvest, like strawberries and snap peas and lettuce and carrots and the many beautiful things we grow in the garden. And then we also are lucky enough to live in an area where there's amazing fruit trees in the summer. So we eat a lot of like peaches and cherries and nectarines and things like that. And then as far as our meals go, it changes every week or every day. You know, it could be a little bit different, but some of the things that we have for breakfast include like pancakes, bagels, oatmeal, scrambled eggs, roasted potatoes, different things like that. And some of the things that we might have for lunch or dinner include like soup or chili, pasta and pasta sauce, burritos, stir fry. We've been having really yummy falafel lately. All kinds of different kinds of food. And especially if you come from one of the cooking camps, you'll get to help make the food. Like sometimes we make homemade pasta and we make lasagna. That's always really fun. Sometimes we have mac and cheese. Sometimes we have sandwiches. And then at every meal, we pretty much always have some kind of fruit. We have like crackers or corn chips or like cheese slices. And then in the afternoons, we also have an afternoon snack in between lunch and dinner. So after free time, we also get to have a snack. But yeah, so every meal has fresh fruits and vegetables and an assortment of different foods. We serve all of our food kind of buffet style, like Michelle said. So as you go along the line, there will be different options of, for your burrito night or whatever, you can pick which things you want in your burrito. So that's pretty fun. And then for parents out there too, we are super able to accommodate like gluten-free, dairy-free, vegetarian, vegan diets. And then I also just if your kid has dietary restrictions or like severe allergies or anything like that, I usually am getting in touch with parents before their kid comes to camp just to double check about those things and make sure that we're all on the same page and able to really provide delicious, nourishing time for them.
Great. Thanks,
Oh.
Liz.
Somebody asked if there are s'mores, and the answer is unfortunately no, we do not have s'mores because when we have summer camp, we're under a burn ban. So it's too dry to have a fire and have s'mores. Unfortunately, if you come for a work party in the winter, sometimes we have s'mores then.
That's true. And then, okay, then Jenna, why don't you talk a little bit about the horses and then we'll answer all the questions. I see some are coming in from the chat as well.
Sure. So we've got a couple different versions of horse camp, of the horse camps that you all are signed up for, I'm sure. There's the all level camp. There's young rider. There's this year we're doing an advanced riding camp for the first time. And then there's the horse connection camp. So our kind of basic framework for all level camp involves doing like a beginning lesson / kind of assessment on the first day. And that goes for young rider as well. And we have learned that the most fun way for the kids and the horses to do this is to do it on the trail. So we have a trail ride, but it's also a lesson. And it's really beautiful, and we get to do the whole lesson throughout the trees, and it's just the best way. And then during like an all level camp, or like a Wrangler camp as well, possibly, our aim is to get every kid on on a trail ride at least once that week. And in the meantime, we also have like an arena and a small zone we call the playground that has different obstacles. So they get to do some skill building in the arena and then like around barrels and over poles. And we have this like little hill that we call the Hill of Joy. That's like a really good practice, and it's a lot of fun. And we try to add some games into the riding as well when we can. Wrangler camp is a horse camp that sometimes does higher skill level riding, but not always, because another big piece of Wrangler camp is like work projects, and we get to the kids get to make their mark on the ranch in some fashion, and that's really cool. Advanced riding camp is a new one this year, and will include things like more trotting and possibly cantering, depending on if the horses are ready, and our hope is that that is the case. And Young Rider does a lot of trail rides. That's actually the main thing we do with Young Rider. And then the last horse camp, which is actually my favorite, is Horse Connection Camp, which is the one that was mentioned earlier. And that's the camp that's on the ground. So we spend the most time with the horses of all the camps. We just spend it at their level. And so you get to know the horses in a very different way, and in my opinion, deeper, when you spend a whole week with them on the ground than if you're only ever looking at them, not only ever because we brush them, but then if you're mostly looking at them from above them. Don't worry, I love riding, but Horse Connection Camp offers a chance to spend a different kind of time with the horses, and we don't actually have much time for that during regular other horse camp, riding camp. And we try to fit it in, but there's just only so many days in the week. Oh, in terms of riding, mostly we are teaching people bareback. We have saddles, we do some riding in saddles, but we do a lot bareback as well. Our horses also, for the most part, ride in a bitless setup, so they don't have bits in their mouths. A couple of them do, because that's what they're currently used to, and we haven't transitioned them. And I make sure that those bits are very gentle mouthpieces, so that we're not, using too much pressure or anything like that. And our horses are almost exclusively barefoot. We have one horse this year who's wearing some special shoes to see if we can help the rest of his body. But we like to do things in a way that's a little more like horses showed up in the world.
Yay. Thanks, Jenna. Okay, I see a hand raised with the name. It says Allison, although I don't remember if that's your name. And then maybe Susan, will you take us through the questions in the chat as well? And then folks can also just feel free to raise your hand or unmute and jump in. So go ahead, your hand raised friend with the name Allison Campbell on your screen.
Okay, I was curious for like the all ages camp if we're gonna be able to like train the horses and stuff.
Good question. Essentially, the answer is yes, because anytime we're working with the horses, there's some amount of training involved. Also, we have a horse who's 6 years old this year. Her name is Zephyr. She was born in 2019, and our plan is to have some of our smaller staff, because she is very small, start riding her this spring. And so there's a chance there could be some times where we do little training sessions. There's definitely going to be some time to watch training sessions, and we'll just see how much availability we have to include campers. But sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. Great question. Okay, Susan, you want to shoot us a few questions?
Yeah, so I'm just going to start from the first one and work my way down. So Iris, is that right? Anthony asked, what do we eat? And I think that question was answered.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. Next one from Leela Jenkins. I hope I got that right. Can we do the group time with our friend? Can we pick which one we do?
Okay. I'm not like 100% sure I understand the question, but your groups for your activity times, like the whole morning or the whole afternoon, we will choose those groups. And we'll also choose your chore crew as well. But because the activity groups like change every day, it's like entirely possible that you will end up with people you already know during those times. And then where you get to choose, like fully choose, is during the free time. You can spend that time with whoever you want. And also where you sleep in the bunkhouse. So you get to choose where you are in the bunkhouse. And if you have a friend, you can sleep near your friend in the bunkhouse.
Michelle, I also have a note about this question because I watched it come up at the time that it came up, which was
Great.
when the schedule
Context.
board was up.
Yes.
And you touched on it a little bit, but it's maybe worth mentioning that the activity groups are pretty dictated by, especially during a horse camp, they're pretty dictated by the needs of the horses and the riders and what they're ready for. So like I actually make the groups for the most part because I'm making them based on which campers are going on a trail ride, which are going to do a skill building session in the arena, and then who's in the afternoon session. And so based on that ends up deciding who you're with. But as Michelle mentioned, that does change throughout the week because there's various aspects and of the process. So
Yeah. And some of our other camps are small enough that you spend like more of all of the time with more of all of the kids instead of in small groups. So that's kind of what's special about our other camps is that they're smaller and you really get like a lot of time with everybody. Great. More questions?
Yeah, next one I'm seeing is what kind of craft stuff do we do?
Ooh, craft stuff. Possibilities are really endless in the craft area. We have stuff for painting. We have stuff for drawing, all the kinds of drawing. We have stuff for sewing. We have stuff for needle felting. We have stuff for dyeing. We have, what else do we have? Right. We have
We do-
paper making.
So yeah, sometimes we do block printing, sometimes we do murals. Yeah, sometimes we do leather working. Sometimes we do nature crafts, so like things we go out in nature and find things or create art installations out in the woods.
A lot of opportunities in the craft area, I will tell you that.
Cool. Next one, Esme is curious if she can choose her bunk mate.
Yes, you get to pick where you're going to sleep in the bunkhouse. And you can pick, like, if someone else is coming with you, you guys can pick your spots together.
Cool. Next question, is there a swimming skills assessment or how does that work for the pond?
Great question. Okay, yes, we do have a swim test on the first day. And it is like anyone who doesn't want to do the swim test, or if like after the swim test, we just like have a little more like wanting there to be extra safety. We have a lot of life jackets. So anyone can wear a life jacket anytime. Like when I go in the pond, I usually just throw one on because they're cool and then you can just like bob around, which is like actually what I want to do. So life jackets available. We also have a couple of like things to play on in the pond, like noodles and like boards and little boats and stuff. And so on the first day, we'll do a swim test. We'll just have you swim out to a boat and then back to the dock. It is like different to swim in a pond than it is to swim in a pool, or even like some other like natural swimming. It's like colder. There's like pond weeds. Like there's reasons that like swimming in a pond is actually harder than it seems. So sometimes even if you take the swim test and you feel like a really good swimmer at home, we might still ask you to wear a life jacket. And that's just so that like you're just not gonna have to worry about it. It's like for you as well. And that's how we'll do it. And if you don't do a swim test on the very first day, then you have to just wear a life jacket anyway. That's the only day we do it, or like the first full day of camp. So sometimes kids who are like on the swim team don't go to the pond on the first day and take the swim test, and then they just wear a life jacket for the rest of the week anyway. So that's how we do the swimming in the pond. The pond also, depending on when you come in the summer, the pond is great for swimming in like the first half of the summer. And by the end of the summer, it's like if you come in August, sometimes we're not swimming in the pond anymore because it's like a little like it's more of like a wetland by that time. So that's when we get the slip and slide out. So there's like pros and cons. If you come at the beginning of the summer, you get to swim in the pond. If you come at the end, you get to play on the slip and slide. And that's kind of how we like navigate the free time water situation. So those are kind of like the options for swimming and water.
Thanks, Michelle. So next question, I hope I'm saying Laura, I hope I said your name correctly. Laura wants to know if the music camp will also have time with the horses.
Great question. Often our camps that are not horse camps will have some opportunity to hang out with the horses. None of the camps that are not riding camps will ride the horses, but a lot of times we'll do like an evening where we go out into the corrals with the horses. We call it pony tea time. We just like hang out there and like we can brush them. And it's really sweet. So there's definitely opportunity to like hang out with the horses in pretty much all of the camps.
Thanks, Michelle. Next one, Esme would like to know if she gets to cook, even if she is there for horse camp. Just hearing about this has her excited.
Well, that is so
Very
wonderful.
exciting.
I love that. Yeah, we don't do cooking projects every week at camp, but we often will. And one of the things about camp that's super fun is at the beginning of the week, we do a possibilities list with all the campers that are there for that week. We make a big list of all the things we might want to do. So if there's a lot of interest and a lot of people want to do a kitchen project, makes it even more likely that we'll get to do that during the week.
Fun. Next question is about how do we help with homesickness?
Homesickness is a really common thing that happens at camp. And maybe Liz or Jenna, you have other ideas after I like talk a little bit about it too. But one of the things that I have found really helps with homesickness is that camp is also just really fun. So we get really involved with doing like the fun activities at camp. We do a lot of letter writing as well. So at any time, if campers are feeling like they're like missing home, it's a really nice activity to like go sit in the shade or sit in a cool spot or sit in the bunkhouse and write a letter home to your family. We also receive mail. So if you are wanting to send mail to camp, please do, because then we get the mail, we hand out the mail to campers. And it takes a little bit of time to get here, so send it early. But mail is like number one exciting thing. Also, we do a lot of like learning how to like fill out an envelope and use a stamp and things like that. It's like really fun like process. So Liz or Jenna, I don't know if you have other thoughts about homesickness.
Yeah, I mean, one thing, especially for the camps where we have some of the younger kids, is our staff are really incredible at giving hugs, and really helping all the kids to feel included and part of the Coney family. So I'd say that's one of the main ways is we all become part of an Econi family, and that really helps with homesickness a lot. Being part of a community, feeling really welcomed, and our staff are really love to help the tender-hearted campers, especially.
Yeah. And we also have a lot of staff. Like our staff to camper ratio is really high. For like a camp of like 18, there's usually like 10 staff or something like that. So, there's a lot of access to safe and supportive adults, as well as like lots of other, safe and supportive kids.
We also have, well, Michelle has Pickle, who
True.
Pickle is a dog. Pickle's a very good homesickness antidote. And the cats are pretty friendly and sweet, and they are also good at that. Also, this year we have a baby horse that just happened, so that's gonna be a cute addition. Um, and there was one question that got skipped, which is, do we get to pick our horse? And since I'm
Mm.
talking, I will answer that question. The answer is sometimes yes, and sometimes we pick for you. But it really depends on what we're doing that day and a few things. But in short, yes, you do sometimes get to pick your horse.
Thanks for catching that, Jenna. Sorry, I missed that one.
That's okay. There's one more question that somehow got to just me, but I will read it aloud. Which is, if you're diabetic, can you have your phone to check your blood sugar?
Mm. That's a great question. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that like if you're diabetic, you would want to like check in with us. Like we'll check in with you as well. But Liz, it sounds like you have some thoughts.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say that would be a case where we would set up a meeting ahead of time and talk through our strategy of how we're gonna make sure that's a fun and safe and nourishing experience. But yeah, reach out individually and we'll have a conversation.
Yeah. Any other questions in the chat that we have not covered yet?
I think we got them all. Thanks for the backup, Jenna. Does anybody in the room want to bring up some questions at this point? Anything else coming up for folks?
Yeah, you can feel free to just like unmute and we'll just see how it goes. So exciting. I wish you did adult camp. Okay, we do. We also have camp for grown-ups, a few. If you want to come to horse camp and like ride a horse, we do an adult trail ride camp in October. We typically do a horse connection camp for adults as well in May. This year we canceled it, but we often do it. And we also have other groups that do adult programs as well. So like next weekend we have a forest bathing camp for grown-ups, and we have lots of other groups that come to Econi and do groups or do programs. So keep your eyes peeled. Any other questions?
What time of horses are there? Is that what type of horses are there?
That's my guess.
Probably. All kinds. The like foundation breeding of Econi horses, which we only have a handful of left anymore, were affectionately known as Therapians, which is a combination of Thoroughbred, Arabian, and Appaloosa. So there is still some of that blood in the herd. We also have some grade quarter horses and ponies. We do have 2 registered horses that are paints. And we have like 4 draft cross mares at this point. Well, 5 if you count the baby. That's about it. They're all trotting horses. They're not gaited horses, in case you know what that is and are curious. We just don't want to throw in too many variables for confusion, so we do stick to trotting horses. Oh, thank you, Susan, for the programs and retreats link that shows
You're welcome.
adult programs.
Rock Mountain horses? Is that something?
Rocky Mountain horses are gated, and we do not have gated horses, so we do not have any Rocky Mountain horses. I know what they are though. I do have some baby pictures if we want to
yes.
show that.
I think we do.
Let me just really quick put them in the same folder so that I can pull them up. I
Lila
wasn't-
asked, do we have Mustangs? And I think currently we have one Mustang.
we do.
Jenna's horse 7 is a Mustang, and we have had other Mustangs in the past.
Good question. Okay, let me. You can keep asking questions. I'm looking for those
Do
photos
we
that I-
have pigs? We usually have pigs. I usually am in charge of raising the pigs, but this year we're unfortunately not going to have pigs because I'm trying to build a house. So I'm a little bit busy.
But if you come back next summer, we will almost surely have pigs.
Yes, exactly.
And is there a chore that has to do with the chickens? Yes, feeding the animals. The trick, it depends on which camp you're here for, but sometimes the feeding the animals chore is just the chickens and the cats. It's like all the animals that are not horses. Sometimes you have to choose if it's your day to do feeding chores, you have to choose whether you want to feed the horses or feed the chickens and the ducks and the cats and all the other animals. But it depends. But there will be lots of time to spend with the chickens for sure.
Yeah, and we're just getting our first baby chicks next week. So we do raise, we have layer hens, probably currently I think about 30, and then we raise little baby chicks as well. So we'll have 3 different batches of baby chicks coming over the course of this spring and into the early summer.
Yeah. You got those baby pictures, Jenna?
I do. Also, can you control the horses yourselves? Yes. We start with basic lessons, but we move towards independent riding as soon as we can. And I do have baby pictures. You might have to let me share.
Yeah.
Okay, I just requested. Sorry, I don't always sign
I
on.
got it. Hang on.
Thanks,
Okay.
Susan.
There you go.
Okay. Here we go. Ta-da!
Baby.
That's a baby. This first picture is what she does about 80% of the time, which is sleep. And then that is her mama, who we bought in December from Iowa, already pregnant. The seller had told us their due date was between mid-March and early April, and she was born on Saturday. So about a month overdue, but that's okay. She was well cooked. I don't know if you can tell. She doesn't look like a newborn. She's just a little bit thicker. And she's so cute. And she doesn't have a name yet, but she will soon, and we will let people know when we figure that out. She loves scratches. Baby horses, I think, are the itchiest creatures in the whole world. That's Mosey looking at her. Mosey is the horse on the other side of the fence, and they're kind of looking at each other and figuring each other out from across the fence here. And that's her mama. There we go. Those are the ones that I have. I just scrambled a few together.
So
Those
cute.
are great. Okay. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. It was really nice to talk with all of you. All of you can always email me with any questions at summercamp@econi.org. And other than that, we look forward to seeing you this summer. Can't wait for you to be here.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, so great to see some of your faces.
Yeah. And feel free to unmute and say goodbye and have like a raucous party at the very end.
Bye.
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 Thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks,
for
you
now.
guys.
Bye.
Bye. See ya. Long. See ya at camp.